Hello everybody, I'm just down here. It's the 17th of... I'm just putting a bit of oil here on the... Every once in a while, let me just put that there a second. Every once in a while I put a bit of oil here on my Leach wheel, just on the leather there, around the crank. Also I put a little bit of oil here just on the chain there, and just down there too. That's just a little bit of routine maintenance, you know. This is about the only maintenance I ever... Right here on the back side here where the hinges, I put a bit of oil there too. Yeah, just 3-in-1 oil. Or whatever oil you've got, you know. Whatever it happens to be. Thanks for joining us, folks. 17th of July, yeah, I'm here at the wheel. I just thought, I did say last time I would do a quick video just to show you how to lift a pot off the wheel. And this is pretty basic stuff, isn't it? I know, for some of you, forgive me. So, yeah, I thought I'd throw a couple of forms, like a sort of just a cylinder, really. This is a pound of clay, these lumps. Haven't got my hat today. That'll be good, it won't get in the way. So, let me just throw a cylinder as a sort of, like a tool shape, you know. Coning up, centering down. This is really for beginners, for people who struggling to lift their pots off the wheel. So, just with a few basic make a few basic points, you know, just to pointers for you to help you. So just lifting this clay up. I suppose, you know, number one, and that is to make sure that you're not throwing with clay that is too soft, you know what I mean? And they've got an air bubble here, somewhere here. Yeah, if your clay is too soft, that's going to make things a little bit more difficult to lift a pot to lift off, you see. So I'm just pulling up here for a demonstration purpose. This isn't really a pot for anything, just an example of a... Okay, so this is like a pound of clay. Okay, so we're going to imagine that is our pot that we want to lift off. Okay, so you want to just go through the motions to finish. I'm going to go through the motions, sort of finishing the pot off as I would normally, you know. So stick it at the base here, okay, where the pot joins the wheel head, and put in that bevel. Okay, don't forget to do that. Okay, next you want to take your throwing stick, and it really is, perhaps I should just make a point here. Just bear with me, I'm going to go and get a tool, a couple of tools that I've got over here. Yeah. I've got a thing here with different types of throwing sticks in here. I just want to, when people come here and do workshops, we we have a look at their tools, you see, and people sometimes leave tools behind here. But this could be, say for example, a typical tool that somebody might use if they weren't using one of my keep practicing throwing sticks like this. They might be using one like that. Well, you'll see there's some difference there, different angle on the end there for a start. Okay, but the main difference here you'll see is the thickness of the stick. Okay, you'll see that this stick is a lot thicker. This is like a typical generic stick that a lot of people might use. It's not only is it thicker, you can see the difference, but it's also it's rounded on the edge here. Okay, whereas my stick is flat across the top here, or across here, and it's got like a bit of a corner here. Okay. The point I wanted to mention is that this kind of stick I don't find personally very good, because it's too thick, and because of this roundness here, it's not very efficient at cleaning the slurry off the side of the pot very well. Okay, also the other end, because it doesn't have a square end here, I don't find it can, this has got a rounded end, it doesn't get down to the bottom there, unless you're using this rather, you can use this rather pointy end. Again, I find that too pointed. So having the right throwing stick at this point of the game is actually good to make sure you've got the right one. And I like this because it's thin and it's got that edge, so I can apply the throwing stick to the edge of the pot, you see, like this, and very readily, easily clean back the pot. You can see all the slurry. I've just cleaned off that. That slurry is going to be an enemy for you in terms of lifting the pot off the wheel. Okay, so you want to, now you might also take note of the angle that I'm holding my throwing stick to the pot. I'm not holding it like that, because that creates then too much contact area all the way down the side of the tool, and that creates a drag on the side of the pot, which will pull the pot over, you see. So what you want to do is you want to apply the stick to the side of the pot at an angle like that. So it's only touching, see if I can do it like this so you can see a bit better. So it's only touching like that, and then I go like that, you see. I don't know if you can see what I'm doing, but you want to sort of go like that. So then it touches all the way up then as it goes, but only in a small area, if you see what I mean. Am I making sense? Alright, so you be careful once it starts to really clean back the slurry off the side of the pot. The throwing stick will easily catch on the ooh, you see, like that, you see. I kind of let it do that on purpose. I wanted you to see that, but it'll grab the stick, because as you begin to clean back the water, it becomes more tacky, the surface. Alright, let me just wet it again. So when it's very wet like that, I can apply the stick quite easily and it isn't going to catch on the stick. But as I begin to dry off the wall of the pot, it becomes, you then got to be careful, it might grab it. So just keep it at like a slight angle like that, and you should be okay. All right. Okay. All right. So we put in our bevel there. We've cleaned it. All right. Next thing you want to do. Yeah, I should leather expose as well, shouldn't I? Should do the whole thing, shouldn't I? Even if it's a demo. A demo piece. Just leather it, sponge it out. Now take your cutoff wire, and here's the thing. Make sure here, down the bottom here, the wheel head itself, clean back the slurry. I sometimes do that. You might see me do that sometimes. Take the cutoff wire, all right, and use your thumbs, and with the wheel slowly rotating, just pull it straight through like that. Okay. All right. Now what you want to do is have a towel, just to. I mean, I like to have a towel when I'm working in any case, because I don't like all the time to be just wiping my hands continually on my apron, because that makes my apron into a filthy mess. Do you believe it? I washed this apron yesterday. It was clean, and look at it. It's doesn't take long, does it, to get dirty, your apron? So I don't like to be continually wiping. So have a towel. I need to change this towel. It's been here for ages. But have a separate towel, all right, just to clean off from the palms of your hands. Now what you're going to do is just simply cup it like that, all right? This sort of form, like a taller form. Now you imagine this could be a larger tankard, or a let's say a pitcher of some kind, or a vase, all right? You're not going to try to lift it off with your finger points, your fingertips. Don't try and lift it off like this, because it'll just make lots of indentations in the side. So what you want to aim for is a lot of contact area, you see? That's why you want to lift it like this. Cup your hands around it, and then just lift, and it'll come just straight off in your hands. Okay? I mean, you could look how it sticks to my hand, because you get that surface of the pot with the throwing stick. You get it cleaned back, and with a dryish hand, you know, it'll just stick to your hand, you see. So then put him down, and when you put your pot down, put it down gently. A lot of people I see, they put their pot down and then they sort of they drop it. The last inch, they sort of just let it go, you know. Well, of course, that wrecks the pot, doesn't it? All right, so that's how to lift off a mug, a vase, a pitcher type shape. All right, I'm now going to throw like more of a bowl. We'll talk about that. I'll make this into like a GP bowl type shape. We had a thunderstorm, but it's gone. We didn't actually get any rain. Such a lot of rain these days. It's been such a high humidity at the moment. Okay, this is like a GP bowl type form. Are we still in the picture? This is when I look at the camera and I see the camera is switched off, you know. That happens quite often. I think, oh, what happened to that? Suddenly decides to switch off on its own accord for no apparent reason. Okay, so just cone it up, okay, and then push it down like that. Thumb there at the base to center take away the skirt of clay that can accumulate at the base there. Okay. Breaking in. Now just opening out like this. Just sort of going like that, pulling up the side. So you want to get a bowl shape, you see. You want to concentrate on getting, don't want a flat base, you want a sort of nice rounded inside, don't you? Okay. Pull it up. Now sometimes when I'm doing bowls, if it's going to be a bowl with a trimmed foot, then I'm leaving a little bit extra clay down at the foot, and you can sometimes, after you cut off, put your fingers down there and lift that off right at that, on that sort of thicker, slightly thicker foot area. In this case, these are not trimmed, these are like a GP bowl. So just widening it out. Okay, yeah, we'll flip the lid, the lip over here, roll the rim. Best not to do that when you've got it wide. Best to, if you're going to roll a rim on a bowl, sort of like a GP bowl type, don't wait till you've got it out wide and then decide you're going to roll the rim. You want to, while it's still a little bit more vertical, roll the rim then, and then open it out after you've rolled the rim. Okay, so yeah, taking orders on Leach wheels. I'm having 5 more made. So I've got 3 already. I've got 3 customers already for 3 of the 5. So if anybody else is interested in a Leach kit wheel, give me a shout. Write to me, simonleachpottery@gmail.com. Okay, so with a GP bowl, what we're going to do is use the throwing stick to get in underneath there like that, and I'm using my fingers on the inside to push back, a wet trimming, you see, wet trimming the clay. So I don't do the trimming when it's after it's leather hard. I trim it now while it's wet, using this technique, you see. Alright, this is a little bit, takes a little bit of takes a little bit of skill actually to do that, to get to know how to use your tool in that way. You may not be able to achieve that immediately without a bit of practice, using your throwing stick like I am doing this. But don't let that daunt you. Right, pulling back a bit of the slurry there on the wheel head. Quick look on the inside. Is it a nice shape? Yes, it is good. Alright, so now we're going to just use my leather on the lip there. Like that. These are usually 6.5. I don't know what this one is. Let's just measure it. Actually, this one is a little bit wide. It's 6 3/4, but it doesn't matter for the purpose of this demo. All right, so I'm just going to whip the camera off the tripod. I want you to see it. Yeah, this video is really for people who are struggling with this particular aspect of how to get their pot off the wheel. So I just want you to see the form there, gently curving down side to the foot, which is cleaned right the way down to the wheel head. If you see there, it's absolutely clean right to the wheel head. All right. Okay. Now these are going to be this type is lifted off very slightly differently than a cylinder. I mean, basically, we've already cleaned it using our throwing stick, haven't we? Down the outside there. We just wipe our hands. We take the cut-off wire. We've already cleaned back some of the slurry on the wheel head. Slow rotation, okay? Use your thumbs here. Don't forget, also, make sure you have a twisted cut-off wire. That will make it a lot easier. Well, why do we need to have a twisted cut-off wire, Simon? Well, if you don't have a twisted cut-off wire, let's say you have a flat cut-off wire, what happens is when you cut through, let's say you cut through and you drag some water with you as you go, what can happen is that the pot, it creates a suction and it sucks itself, or just basically sticks itself back down again. It doesn't properly separate, you see. Having a twisted cut-off wire makes the bottom of the pot more you know, undulating sort of thing, and it doesn't reseat itself back down again in quite the same way, and air gets trapped in underneath, you see. So when you get the air trapped underneath your pot, it makes it very easy to lift off. Bob's your uncle. So with this type of form, what I'm going to do is I'm not going to lift it like this, you see. I can't, can I? Because if I do that, I'm just going to, the top edge of the pot is just going to crumple in. Alright? So I've got to get right the way down to the base of the bowl. That's the key thing really with lifting off bowls. You want to really get to the right down at the very foot of the pot here and try and grab it there, okay? So the way I do it is like this. A couple of Winston Churchill's victory signs, okay? Get in under there. So I get right in like that, you see, to the foot. And then I just very slightly tip it. And there he is. Off he comes. I'll put him down like that. Now there's that camera over there. Just want you to see this. Just twist it a touch. So when I put it down, in case it's gone a little bit out of round, and they can do bowls, they can go a little bit. What I'll do is I'll just give it a little bit of a, you see what I'm doing there? A little joggle, like that. And don't touch the rim though, don't touch the lip. If you're any little joggling you're going to do, just do it a little bit down below there, you see? And the memory effect of the clay will come back into round again. Alright? So, I've written out here on my little blackboard, sort of try to encapsulate there some of the things I've demonstrated and spoken about, and I've written them on the board there. So take a screenshot of that and stick it up, print it out and stick it up near your wheel maybe. Okay? Alright folks, so I've told you about the wheel. I'll just show you the cutoff from the wire there. So there's the cutoff from the wire. That's what I'm talking about. That sort of undulated, that kind of shell form. That's so when the pot, as you cut through, the pot doesn't re-stick itself down again because of the nature of the cut. All right. So you need a twisted cutoff wire really. It finishes off the pot, I think, on the bottom, and it also assists you in lifting off. Woo. Well, that's supposed to be a quick clip, but you know what? You start rambling on and talking, and before you know it, 5 minutes has become 20. But never mind. Yeah, use this clip, and I hope that it's helpful to you. And yeah, we keep practicing. In my next video, what I'm going to do is I want to throw a series of bowls where I'm going to deform the outside of the bowl in a decorative way. Or at least I'm going to have a go. Join me for that. Oh yeah, by the way, talking about just that very well, actually I can just what I've been talking to you about is doing this kind of bowl. Now, those of you may remember that when I threw this bowl, I managed to push a hole through the bottom of it. Do you remember? I looked at you through the bottom of the pot, and I did a repair on it when it was bone dry. You remember we doing that one? And I repaired it with bone dry clay and vinegar, and it's done a pretty good job of it. It hasn't cracked at all. Yeah, it looks a little worked over because I've had to. It's not quite the same finish as if I'd just trimmed it, but I think you'll agree, pretty satisfactory, hey? And it hasn't re-cracked at all. So just thought I'd show you that. But yeah, the next video is going to be doing some bowls like that. Okay? Okay, folks, that's all. Hey, keep practicing. See you around town. Bye now.